So basically we cover, all the majors and then, most relevant crosses like EJ, AJ. We won't really get into like any obscure pairs. We try to keep it, as mainstream as possible where most of the volume is, where most of, trading is accounted for. And that's, within these majors and crosses. So always within like the giant fiat currencies like, JPY, Euro, GBP, USD, NZ, Canadian dollar, so on. So here we are on US dollar. So this is DXY index. It just shows the strength of the US dollar, which is the reserve currency for the world. It also makes up for 80% of all trades. So it's always good to get, an idea of what this is doing for each day or, on a weekly basis as well, because again, it does drive most of the market, especially the major pairs. So, I always use this as an indicator. I'll always be aware of how it's trending, if it's forming structure, if it's reacting to crazy news, because again, it does drive most of the market. So it's always good to be, aware of what's going on with DXY. So once you see a movement like this, you want to be aware of this. This is definitely, driven by news. It's not, doesn't really have any weight to it. It actually pushed the dollar up into an overvalued area around 1035, which is not ideal for anybody. I've been saying this for weeks. You don't want to see the dollar too strong or too weak. Because it's supposed to represent stability. It's reserve currency of the world for a reason. It's in demand because there's stability within it, and it's definitely the lowest risk currency to hold long term. That's actually the perception of how this is traded. So just be aware that right now we're forming pretty good structure. There is some stability here, as we can see that DXY is starting to range between 101 and 98.5. So this is a good sign. We've seen it reverse from here multiple times. You see these arrows that I've drawn, right? It bounces, bounces, bounces. And right now, we're in a bit of a little bullish. We were in a bit of a bullish channel. It fell out, kind of gapped a little bit on market open this week, which is okay. It is still pretty much bullish in this area until we see a break of this weekly around, call it 99, which is probably a little lower actually. 99.50 would probably be the area we want to see it get below here. If it's gonna go bearish, it needs to get below this zone, basically, what I'm saying. So, as of right now, just looking at this from a 4-hour perspective, we can see that this is primarily bullish, right? Even though we did see a double top form, it's still bullish until this area is broken. So it's very likely we could see a bounce, something like this, from this current area, and then a continuation up to 101. That's very possible. Or again, as I said, if this breaks lower, you just want to look for a little significant break and retest, and then test the zone as resistance, and then we can start to see, maybe this is a transition, a 4-hour transition to the downside, in which case we would target 98.5. So right now we are still bullish. We did see this bearish variation form, right? These are 4-hour candles. We saw 3 bearish candles in a row, but we are kind of right at the MAs. We are at the 200 EMA. We are at the weekly support, and then this little structures area here on the 4-hour. So it's definitely a big confluence area. It is, it's a good sign that we could see the market, kind of taking a breather. It'll make these pushes, take a breather. And right now it's just kind of consolidating, which isn't, it's not a bad sign. We just have to be aware that we could see some sort of reaction at this current level. So either look for a bounce or, again, break and retest. Obviously I'm going to favor the bullish outlook here because, this is a little 4-hour bullish trend. The overall time frame is very bullish. There definitely seem to be more bulls and bears, especially since we got some negative CPI news and the market didn't react as drastically as I thought it would. I thought it would tank price a little more, but it came in pretty bad. I think what was the consensus? It came in at a negative 0.40% opposed to negative 0.20, so a worse report than they were expecting, which is bad, but it's good that we didn't see it react super dramatically in the market. So that's where we're at right now on DXY. I'm going to give you guys an outlook on a few others. First, AU. Still, the overall sentiment here is, we're looking for shorts. We're looking for bearish transitions, but let's zoom out a little bit, right? Let's get a better perspective of what's going on. Higher time frame, daily time frame, right? This is a bearish channel, super bearish. That's our sentiment right there. We can then drop down to a 4-hour. Right, and we can see that this is a pretty strong 4-hour bullish trend, pretty damn strong. So that means we need to see a pretty strong bearish transition to then change our mind, or to then change this trend and resume the overall higher time frame trend of bearish. So in order to confirm that, we really want to see a break of 0.64. However, we could get some short-term opportunities at the current level if we see those right confirmations. So that's why I've gone ahead and plotted a potential trade setup here. This is up here, a 4-hour double top. The price action found resistance at this weekly area twice, and then reversed significantly. You can see that the transition took place over here, right in this area, right? It was a break and retest, and then it continued to drop. Here we have something similar at this yellow zone. It was a clear break. Now it's retesting. It actually came back through. So now is where we're going to see if this is going to hold at this level. If this is a significant break, a confirmed break, and then it could continue higher, or if it's going to fall back lower and start making its another bearish leg to the downside, which would be toward, where's that price label, which would be around here, 0.64. As we said, we want to see that level break. So if we do see this lower time frame transition happen, that's the first area we're targeting. And then we could, once we reach this area, we could potentially play into a larger time frame move, which would be a break of this transition, or this transition on the 4-hour, a break of 0.64, in which case we'd be looking to enter on lower highs on a retest after we see those bearish setups. So we're kind of just waiting right now. This area is definitely key on AU. Will definitely be the deciding zone as to if we're going to continue with this potential bearish short idea, or if we're going to start changing our sentiment and start looking for longs. But again, it does depend on what USD is going to do. If we see USD bounce at the current level, like we were saying, right? If we do see it bounce from this level, that's a good sign. Then we could see AU start to taper off, start to fall off, start to transition to the downside here. But until that happens, we're kind of just waiting. A lot of rejection here on the 4-hour. You see that giant wick. So that's a good sign. It would be nice to see a confirmed lower high right here at the current level. And then we can start looking for those entries potentially on the 1-hour. Right. All right, let's keep going. Looking at AJ now. Similar to AU, however, this has pulled back quite a bit, more. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a little zone in here. You can see that this was where was it? 70 flat. No, it's this area in here. I like this better. Something like this. Right. So this has definitely been the area, minor level, very, very minor level, but, tested as support, broke, tested as resistance. Now it's maybe testing as support again. Just something to, bring to your awareness. All right, so let's go to the higher time frame. We're going to jump on the daily. It's very bearish. I'm going to delete some of these lines, clear it up for you guys. All right, so very bearish. That's something we can tell right off the bat, right? Sentiment is clearly bearish. It's in a bearish channel. It's a pretty strong one at that. And now we had a giant overextended push, right? Leg down, as we can see. We came down to this monthly, found support there, and came back pretty swiftly. So now we have this 4-hour bullish channel, right? If we drop down time frames, you can see that this is a very strong bullish channel, much like AU, right? Forming higher highs, higher lows, pretty easily, and in these big ranges as well. So at the current level, we're at 70 flat, which is a nice psychological level. It's a big confluence area. We also have the 61.8 as well as this weekly resistance, and we formed what could potentially be a double top. If we see a reversal here, this is definitely a double top. This is definitely a confirmed significant level of resistance, and we can start looking for those lower time frame transitions. But right now it's a little early to take any trades. So two scenarios here again. If we see it engulfing through these MAs, in a lower time frame transition, you get a confirmed lower high, maybe on a 1-hour or something. This could be the start of a pretty large push down to the bottom of this range, the 67.5 area, which again is about, let's get a quick measurement on how many pips that could potentially be, over 200, just over 230. So this is a big range that it could fill. We're looking for that transition, and we'll be ready for it once it happens. But if not, the other scenario would be that this 4-hour bullish trend is not done, and it would push price action through the 70 area, through this weekly resistance, and in fact turn it into weekly support. So, in that scenario, we would be looking to enter on higher lows, right? Followed by strong bullish setups, bullish variations, bullish engulfings, morning stars, and so on. That's what we would need to see after this level is broken to confirm that this is a level where support can be trusted, basically. In which case, this would be another leg higher, and this 4-hour bullish trend would not be done. Then we would just keep, we would play it out accordingly and manage it accordingly. So until that happens, again, we're just waiting. It's at a key level now, so this is a good sign. We should start to see some volume kind of pop off soon. And this is what the 1 hour is looking like. So, we really need to see some conviction, either, a pop above, break higher, or, a break lower, and then start getting some confirmations that would suggest a bearish movement. So let's go ahead and go to the 4 hour again, just to take a look. Yeah, so just be waiting on this one. All right, let's keep moving. I got EU next. So this one was a trade that currently in. It is kind of pulling back upon seeing DXY drop. So it's kind of sad to see, but I mean, it is still very bearish. If we can, I'm going to jump to the daily. So very, very bearish on pretty much all higher time frames. This daily especially, it's a very strong bearish trend. We have seen a bit of consolidation. However, this double top was, pretty significant. It wicked this 1.1 level pretty hard, and it definitely looked like it had enough conviction to push down to this 1.06 area, or near the monthly support area zone down here, which is about, how many pips away is this? It was over a 250 pip trade. That was, it had potential there. So right now, it's still just kind of consolidating. This is definitely a demand zone. It's looking like down here on this daily. So let's drop to a 4 hour.
Oh yeah, this thing's pulling back.
Yeah, DXY pushing down pretty hard. So, I mean, we are protected at this 109 area. This is, more of a 4 hour structure level. It's also protected by the 61.8, but it's looking pretty strong. Definitely not a good sign that this is pulling back so swiftly, that we have this much volume coming into EU at this time. However, it could just be a quick retrace, but it could also be something very much like this. So you had a bit of consolidation, kind of a fake out push. It just found, a ton of demand in this area, and then pushed up, with a big, strong bullish variation, similar to what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about yesterday on like the webinar, is that 200-day moving average sort of acts like a last level of resistance for us. That's why the stops are above there. We have resistance there. There's a lot in play right now, even though it shot up. There's a lot of reasons for us to wait and see it's testing, significant level right now. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I mean, just to do a quick recap, this was a 1% trade, 1% to get potentially 3.4%. And, we took it, it definitely seemed, we entered it right here after we saw this bit of a pullback to the 38.2. It held pretty well, formed this even lower structure level, it's like a 1 hour, and then it gave us an engulfing through the MAs and then wicked it again. So like the confirmations were there. I was definitely confident in this trade. However, it did pull back, unfortunately, as, DXY reversed. But, I mean, again, it could still be normal market movement. We are testing the 50%. We are testing this 4 hour structure right near the 61.8, near this 200 EMA. So we'll see. It's not unlikely that, this could just reverse and continue lower, start breaking some levels. If you wanted to, kind of try and find a pattern, you maybe, let's take a look, see if anything fits in here. Maybe a little bit of a flag opportunity, not the strongest, but, we have seen patterns like this kind of form, and then, it'll come back to a deeper fib level, and then it will continue lower. But, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just going by what I see. And right now, I don't see reason to close. I'm just going to hold it through this. Again, it's about how much you risked rather than the pips. This was a higher. This was a 100 pip trade. This was about 100 pip stop loss. But again, risk, it's all about the risk. So we only risked 1% on this. So not terrible, especially for this risk to reward upon the and especially with all the confirmations that we're backing this trade. Right. So you win some, you lose some. But again, we're just gonna kind of manage this one and see what happens. So I'm not really worried, because sooner or later, it turns out to be very profitable. You just got to stick to your rules. You can't really sweat the small stuff. Losing is inevitable, and it's about how you manage those losses sometimes. All right, let's keep going. We're on EJ now. Looking pretty similar to EU. It keeps dancing around this monthly level, right? So we've already established that the higher time frames are very, very bearish, right? We have a pretty strong daily bearish channel, right? And now we're at this monthly level now. So we saw that it had broken over here at the end of April. It had broken, pulled back, and then broken through again, at the beginning of May. May 4th area, May 3rd is when it just totally blew through this level once again, which was a great sign. But now it's pulling back again. So it's really disrespecting this level, which is not something we really like to see, especially for a monthly zone. But you know, this is what we're seeing happen. And this is a pretty strong, it's a 4-hour bullish trend that we see right here. You see this pullback, this kind of like low volume trend. So it's pretty strong, but it also is more or less just a pullback from this move. So we're seeing a pretty deep retracement. EJ likes to do that, you know, before it makes its final push. It likes to retrace to a pretty deep level. And, you know, we're seeing it come back to this 88.6, which is, again, right where the 200 EMA is, which we've seen rejection from multiple times. So, again, you know, this is our last level of defense for here for this pair, you know, on looking for this trade setup. This is kind of the last level where we want to see a potential reversal from. Anything higher, we would start considering, you know, this may be invalid. We may start looking at long positions, especially if we're establishing, you know, we're breaking resistance and establishing support levels. So again, this is the last level that we really want to see a reversal from. Anything else would be kind of too weak to, you know, to enter on. We don't really want to see that happen. Hold on, this thing is, can't grab it. I'm just going to draw a new one. So we would like to see some sort of reversal from here, right? And then ideally, you always want to get a retest of a broken zone. So once it comes back, strong reversal, something like this. And then you want to enter on a quick pullback to this monthly, you know, maybe a retest of the 61.8, something like that. Just like over here. So I want to see something like this, you know, quick reversal and then a quick retest followed by another setup through the MAs. This is exactly what we want to see basically happen with this larger zone is, you know, maybe some consolidation right here, then a nice bearish engulfing like this one right through the zone, and then a quick retest followed by another bearish engulfing or a bearish setup like here, right? Quick retest, bearish engulfing, right? You want to see something like that. That would be a pretty ideal transition here, especially at the zone on the 4-hour. If we do see that happen, we're looking to target down towards 111.650, which is our next weekly support, which is about, from the current level, about 500 pips away, which is absolutely huge. So, you know, we definitely could see this play out, but it all depends on, you know, market structure this week. Again, if price action is heavily influenced by fundamentals, it could definitely throw a curveball in your analysis, and it could definitely throw you off. It could definitely, you know, stop hunt some potential trades that you're already in. So just be aware. Always keep the news in your back of your mind, or you know, even on like, you know, another tab. Just be aware of the news pretty much every week. So yeah, this is looking like definitely bearish, definitely bearish overall. So I'll be looking for those confirmations at this current level.
Mm-hmm.
It's EJ, and then I got gold for you guys because everyone likes looking at gold. All right, let me zoom out. Overall, we can identify off the bat, very bullish, right? We know gold's been bullish. You know, even if you're not looking at a chart, I'm sure most of you have heard that, you know, gold's in demand, gold's going to appreciate, and so on. But, you know, the technicals do support that as well. We have been getting these strong bullish legs higher. It's in a strong bullish daily trend now. And currently on this 4-hour, you know, we broke key resistance over here at this monthly. Now we're testing that support, which is also at the 38.2, which is also where this 200 EMA is creeping up to. So this is a good sign. We're getting a lot of consolidation. You know, we could be getting a large impulse move happening soon, especially if these levels continue to hold. But the two levels I want to bring your attention to, that trade didn't play out yet, are 16.95. You know, these are minor levels of structure, but still important because it's where current price action is. Let's go ahead and mark these up. Okay, that worked out. And then our next level is 7.15. Again, lower time frame levels of structure. Something to bring to your attention for sure. You know, because as these levels start to break or start to hold, you know, it'll confirm this lower time frame trend and give us potential precise entries. So right now, you know, we still want to see this play out. We're still targeting 1800, which is also where this negative 27 fib level is. So good target there. Very likely for it to hit that, and we still are waiting for something like this, right? I want to see a strong impulse move, breaking 17.15. It's already holding at 16.95, so this level is confirmed pretty well. Tons of exhaustion there. You know, we want to just see this level break 17.15, give us a confirmed higher low, strong bullish setups, get in on an engulfing after this level is broken, and then, then we're targeting all the way to 1800. So this could be a potential huge move again. I know we've been covering it for quite a while. Pretty much throughout all this consolidation, we've been kind of calling this move, kind of just waiting for those confirmations. And that's what we're going to continue to do. There's not really much you can do when there's just kind of consolidation going on, unless you're taking, high risk scalp positions. But, we don't trade like that. That's not our strategy. Ideally, we want to wait for that larger move, that larger time frame move to come into play, in which case we could capitalize on. And that's exactly what we're going to do here on gold. Definitely a huge move to be made here once we see this play out. Huge move. Almost 4.5% movement in gold's price in total. So that's pretty nuts. That's a big move. But anyway, quick recap. We covered DXY, as always. Getting a little rejection from this level now. It's a good sign. We covered AU, covered AJ, covered EU, covered EJ, and finally we covered gold, right? Now I'm going to pass this off to Angelo. He'll get into some more major pairs, probably some that you guys are waiting on. And
cool.
We got. Thanks. Yeah, no problem, Sumi. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. I do see CHF, JPY. That's what pairs you're looking at. Oh, okay. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Let's take a look. We got EU. Let's hop over to GU. Start off with this pair. So I'm going to bump up time frames as always. Let's go from the weekly and just take a look. Let's talk through what I'm thinking about for this position. I'll clear this up a little bit. So overall on the weekly time frame, obviously, I've got my key levels here. I've got some structure that's forming. We got the 200-day moving average. Obviously, very bearish at this point. We fell below. So we are currently at this level. Going into this week, I had checked out this candle, large wick, definitely failed last week to engulf here. So it was showing that buyers were stepping into the market. Buyers were stepping into the market. They were causing an idea for me that we could potentially continue higher. But at the same time, this moving average is pointing down. We're below this moving average here. So basically just need to continue to go down time frames and slowly see things a little bit clearer, just doing a little bit of candlestick analysis on that time frame. On this daily time frame, this is where I'm basing overall structure. I got my fib marked. I've got this 618 level right here. Last week, obviously, we had a bit of a sell-off, down to this level. We respected that 618 area. And at this point, I have a few levels placed. I have this level up here from the 4 hour. I have this 4 hour level. We'll take a look at a second. And then I have this daily level down here. So pretty much, I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. Pretty much, we are retesting this support level. We're retesting the support level on the daily time frame. Yesterday closed, definitely engulfed the previous candle, but there's a wick here. So not the best indication that we're ready for downward movement. But I'm just going to continue down to the 4 hour, try to continue to make sense as to exactly where we're at the moment. So down to this 4 hour time frame, obviously I have this support, this level marked right here. I grabbed it from support here, resistance here, support here. Pretty much, what I was checking out was on this 4 hour time frame, we fell below. Again, we're within a range. We're within a range. Over on the daily, I'm bearish. The weekly, I'm bearish. Monthly, I'm bearish. On the 4 hour now, really, we have been bullish. We've been bullish. Then we formed this lower high right here, from this level. And now, ultimately, what we really need to do is we do need to break really below this blue zone, on this 4 hour to really, that would be 4 hour breaker structure. That doesn't mean though that I'm not looking for short opportunities yet. I'm still just trying to cycle down time frames, see where I see things, pretty clearly based on the fact that the daily I am bearish, weekly I'm bearish, and so on and so on. So on this 1 hour, down to the 1 hour time frame, I put out this analysis. yesterday, how I was looking, beginning of the week for this to break below this level, retest, just a potential idea to forecast on this. We did break below, at this point right now, we are currently retesting. I didn't put out an entry yesterday or anything because it really just didn't fit my rules. We didn't pull back enough on this 1 hour time frame for it to be a lower high. We were just riding this. I didn't want to get in here, at the bottom of this area. One, because of this support level. Two, because we didn't make a lower high at all. So I was more waiting for this. I'm waiting for this. We're getting more of a pullback now. Let me check out the 30-minute. We're getting more of a pullback now. This is pretty much at this point, this is what I'm looking for. This 30-minute time frame. We're getting some rejection in this area. This 1 hour time frame. We'll see how this 1 hour closes. So this is definitely a position that is for today going to be on my radar. Pretty much how I'm looking at this is, okay, I'm going to see how this closes on this time frame, right? I'm going to see how this closes. If this can close through the moving averages for me, then I'll be able to put my stops like right around 50 pips here. And then pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm just going to target these lows. It'll be around 1-to-1. That'll get me to a point where I can be break even on the trade. And then ultimately, once price does come back into that area, or if price does come back into that area, I am going to be managing it pretty closely, considering we haven't broke below here, in quite some time. We haven't broke below here since March 27th, so like a couple months, month or two now. So yeah, I'm gonna wait like a month and a half. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see how this closes. Definitely some confluence here, but at the same time, we got this 200-day, kind of pointing up. This would have to really close for me. Like, look at the 4 hour. We're finding support like above this level. Yeah, I'm just gonna, wait on this 30-minute, on the 1 hour, see if I can get some clear indication of some sort of entry, and then yeah, I'll take this trade. So this is definitely a position. I put this in the premium analysis yesterday, I believe. We got GU. That was the after. So this was GU before. So obviously we were just waiting, break of structure here. Boom, now we got the retest. We got our fib levels, everything like that. I took my fib off, but this was the break of structure. This right here on the 1 hour time frame. This is our fib. From our high to our low. This was our first level that we were looking to retest right there. Obviously, this huge wick is not indication of any sort of entry. And then at this point, we're pulling back, hit the 618 area. Could we potentially find resistance here? We also do have this 4 hour level. So this is going to be, something I consider as we get off this live trading session, whether to signal this or not. And, it's GU. So obviously that means that we are banking on USD to, appreciate in value. And that would also go along with EU as well. They do slightly correlate. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this. Let's go over to USEF. As always, I will keep these positions in orange, the ones that are really on my watch list. So it was actually interesting yesterday with USEF. USEF, let's just bump up to the daily, to the weekly. USEF has been showing us really everything that we needed to have. Unfortunately, I just didn't. Yesterday, I was not really in the headspace to be trading, so I just didn't trade, to be completely honest. But, USEF was really showing us exactly what we wanted based on our analysis, based on how we've been breaking this thing down. We started on the daily time frame. We've been going over this every live trading session for a while. Daily structure, high to low, have this demand zone or the supply zone up here. We hit the 100% level, respected it. Hit the 88.6 level, respected it. Started to consolidate. We know that this isn't going to just push to zero like from these higher levels, but at the same time, we know these are our structure levels. Like, this is important structure. Came back up into the supply zone, fell. We had called that position. Now the same thing. The same thing just happened. We came up into the supply zone, found resistance again. We've got our trend line even in action there. This is like just an easy trend line for us. Point A here, point B here, point C right here. Found that rejection and everything, and this thing played out pretty well. This 4-hour time frame, we ultimately broke down structure onto this time frame. I recognize this as a 4-hour uptrend. Found found support here, double bottom. That double bottom broke, so that was like a significant break of structure for me. Was waiting for that next lower high, retraced all the way to 100%. Got our entry signals, or got our setup here. Supply zone on the lower time frame, bearish. Setup here, large wick. That could have been an even indication to sell there. But I was waiting. Ultimately for a pullback similar to this. But as soon as I see this right here, I can go down to the lower time frames because it confirms for me on the higher time frames, all of my confirmations are there. So on USEF, on the higher time frame, it was, supply zone, huge wick, lot of resistance here, trend line, evening star, 4 confirmations here, 100% level. That's more than enough for me to say, okay, let's get to this 30-minute and let's start to see, what is structure looking at the 30-minute. Structure here was obviously very bullish. Then at this point, we had a lot of pullback, big pullback here for the most significant just within this entire range. And I say that because I just look at these moving averages, they're crossing. Some support was found here, right here. Some support was found here. Then we formed this new high, then we just broke below. So those were some levels formally that broke. We didn't take any trades just off of this. This would have been like a more breakout style entry, which would have been good, honestly, which would have been a pretty good trade to take. We could have protected ourselves with our stops. We did get into a considerable amount of profit. We could have continued to maintain the trade. But at the same time, yesterday, what I was looking at was actually a little long opportunity. And basically, I saw this 30-minute start to transition. I expected us to come back into this supply zone again. We had a little bit of an entry like right here, and then it shot up, into some profit. It was actually enough for us. It was enough for us to like get to break even. This was like a 2-to-1, basically like risk around 10 pips for like around 30 pips or so. That was projected 35, and we got up around like 20 pips. So that was just a little analysis that I put out yesterday. But ultimately, we were looking for this. We were looking for this position, for this move. On the 1-hour time frame. Where was the entry? We talk about the moving averages crossing, everything like that. Basically, as soon as this fell off happened, and this isn't like too clear for me, but because there's so many confirmations in the higher time frame, this is why I'm going through this example and like this idea. Basically, we had on the 30-minute, breaks of structure here. We have this retracement. On the 1-hour, where would our entry have been? Obviously, here I would not have entered on this wick. Here I wouldn't have entered here because we're still above the moving averages. But as soon as we start to see this candle closes, moving averages cross, retest, retest. These are where the entry opportunities really are. In this position for the way that I'm gonna size up this area. And then also, we even have this support level from before, that structure from before. That was where this was retesting right here. So there's a lot of confluence here on the lower time frame for us to like be confident in taking a position there. So, obviously we didn't get in on that. How can we potentially take advantage of this now that this already had happened? And the way that I see this is, 4-hour time frame. Obviously, we're hitting 50% level now. We got 618 here. We got the moving averages here. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Look at this 30-minute. Let's hop up to the 1-hour. Look at this 1-hour time frame. We're testing this level right now. We need to hold below there. I need some sort of pullback. Some sort of consolidation. I'm not going to enter on the first engulfing or anything like that. but I need to see something similar to this. I'm just literally looking for this over and over again. I'll go between the 30-minute and 1 hour. 30-minute and 1 hour. Again, I'm very wary of the wicks. As these wicks happen, this is not indication for me to enter for good reason. For good reason. So I'll be looking at the wicks, be waiting for some solid closures below. This is obviously like a huge confluence with the 200 and everything. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for a pullback. We'll see. We'll see if we get it, and it's fine. I mean, I'm just, our analysis is there for sure. Unfortunately, sometimes you miss trades, and like I said yesterday, I just wasn't trading, so that's fine. Let's go to NZ USD. Let's clear this up a little bit more. We'll start on this daily time frame. So all these pairs have been retracing pretty aggressively from these lows that they hit. That doesn't mean overall that this isn't bearish. That doesn't mean overall this isn't bearish. That just means that this weekly time frame, much similar to this, pullback, pullback, pullback. These are all pullbacks. This is what's currently going on. We are wary of that. Overall, the weekly, I'm bearish. As I get down to the daily, I start to think, okay, red over or blue over red. We've crossed, we've broken this level. Now at this point, we are retesting this. We retested it once, failed. Now we're retesting it again. Honestly, this engulfing is pretty major for me. This daily engulfing right here. The wick isn't too crazy or anything. But this is why early in this week, again, weekly time frame bearish. So I am waiting to see if this level breaks. Let's get to the 4 hour. On this 4 hour time frame, ultimately, like the 4 hour is pretty bullish. At this point, obviously made this high. Made this higher low, double bottom, just retested this high, and then at this point now we're getting more bullish. Like, just look at the chart. Like, we're getting more bullish signal right now. But for me, it's much of the same earlier in the week. At the beginning of the week, price opened up literally right here, and I put the analysis out. I said we need to close above, retest before long. What happened? Fell off. So I'm just being patient. I'm being patient. Obviously, that daily engulfing is pretty major. Let's shift down to the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, this isn't breaking anything significant. These are all just highs that are forming. These are minor levels right here. So even though it's that daily engulfing, we talk about this a lot, even though it's a daily engulfing, it's just not enough for us. There's no breaks of structure. On this daily time frame for me to say, okay, 1 hour is now bearish. No, 1 hour hit a high, actually broke this level here, formed this higher low. So this is like pretty much what I'm forecasting for NU is on this time frame. We would need on the 1 hour, we essentially need to close below this red zone. We need to find a lot of resistance now. Inversely, on the 4 hour, for me to really get long on this pair, again, I need to break above this level. I need to retest and go long. So, one of two situations. We'll see how it reacts in this red zone. Again, going to wait till I see a setup that I'm really comfortable with, and that's the name of the game here. So we'll wait on NU. Because I'm on the 4 hour, I'm going to put this back to red. Let's go over to USD CAD. Early in the week, we had it pulling back. We talked about hitting this daily support level on the Sunday market blitz. So let's now shift over. Let's start again on the weekly time frame. In this supply zone, huge bearish engulfing last week, but we were at a support level. Let's go to the daily time frame. Again, we're just in this range. Here's some highs, here's some lows. Been bouncing between this for so many times. Definitely significant, for us to see. Now let's hit the 4 hour time frame. Bearish, 4 hour time frame. Why is it bearish? This was a support level that was broken, fell below. Then we retested. We double topped at around the 78.6 level. This was like a nice trade opportunity that we went over. Then we just pulled back. We just pulled back. We got 3 bearish engulfing candles again, all the way down. Let's cycle down to the 1 hour, all the way down to this 1 hour time frame. There is just a very clean transition going on right now. I'm just going to use my random line this across. So on the 1 hour, we broke this support level. We pulled back. Let me just hit up this 4 hour. So yeah, 1 hour time frame. We broke that support level. We just pulled back, fell through, and now we're doing a little bit of a retest. So I'm really thinking about an entry on UCAD. I'm thinking about potentially short on UCAD. Today we just formed, nice level of resistance here, potential lower high. So we'll see. We're retesting. I'm gonna move this up. This is gonna be one that I'm going to get some indication on today. So yeah, we're pulling back right now. We're retesting these levels. If we do get some rejection, potential like mini head and shoulder, or not head and shoulders, but if we just get some rejection again near this random line, then I will consider potential shorts on UCAD. So we'll keep that. I'll update that in the premium analysis, and then let's go over to UJ. UJ, I mean, we can just see right now how significant these weekly levels are. So UJ, we starting up on the weekly time frame, we had this low, this lower high, this low, this lower high, 200-day moving average, fell below there. We talked about being bearish on this for quite some time. And then over the last couple weeks, we started to near this weekly level. Wicks, showing signs of reversal down to the daily. This daily time frame is really where I have structure, marked as always, like on the daily, going from high to low. We hit this 88.6, this supply zone. Had a pullback here where we found some resistance, not exactly at like any Fibonacci level or anything, but we definitely found resistance here, like along this 200-day moving average. And then we were just falling, very weakly though. This was like a very weak trend that was going on here. We just hit this monthly support level, or weekly support level. We're pulling back, but I'm looking for something similar to this. I'm still overall bearish. This had this pullback very similar, a lot of bullish, volume coming off of this very minor support level. We could see much of the same. We could come all the way up to retest this level. I will not be bearish. Again, I will not be bearish until this level is broken. My overall on this daily time frame will not be bearish. So that is what my structure is. And then as we go down to the 4 hour, we can start to make sense. Okay, 4 hour structure. This is what we were using to maintain our orders. This was a lower high that had formed, this lower low, this lower high, this low, and then we just broke. So we broke some structure on the 4 hour, which is significant. So could I potentially be saying to myself, okay, daily time frames bearish, weekly time frames bearish, monthly time frames bearish, 4 hours bullish, 1 hour is bullish, 30 minutes bullish. This is my next really significant resistance level, including like this is obviously a previous lower high that it's retesting right now, but ultimately these are my next like really, really important resistance levels. Could I look for that first higher low in the 4 hour and try to get bullish on this? Potentially. That's something that I could do. And that's just the concept of, top-down analysis, knowing exactly where you're at on the chart. So that you're not just, if you don't know those higher time frame levels and you're just like, okay, 4 hour break of structure, now I'm just going to use my projection on the fib and just target negative 27. Like that's okay. But at the end of the day, it's not giving yourself, the most amount of information that you possibly can to make the best decision, on this trade. So right now, obviously we're finding some resistance. If we can pull back, find support here, get some sort of variation like we always look for. I will potentially look for some sort of long positions. into this higher time frame level. And this is because this is the 4 hour. This is still a pretty significant time frame. So this is showing that the daily, you know, has obviously pulled back very significantly at this point, you know, broke through the moving averages. That's telling me the 4 hour has shifted. The 4 hour shifted, obviously the 1 hour has shifted, you know, and so on and so on. So this one, I'm going to stick on the 4 hour. I'm going to move this up a little bit. So UJ, I will drop this analysis in the free. So in this, in our community, in the analysis section, we will post in here higher time frame analysis. You know, obviously we have all of our analysis here, pretty much 4 hour and up. 4 hour and up for the most part, we will post there. And then during the week, all of the, you know, all of this, like this watch list, like UCAT, GU, USAF, like positions that we're actually looking to get in on, that is going to be posted in here. So like 1 hour, 30-minute, you know, anything like that, you know, potential positions. And this is obviously, yeah, this is obviously included in the signals, you know, and for lifetime members that are inside of the group. And it's also, you know, if you want to just get in and try premium analysis, we do a one-time $7, you know, buy-in where you can for $1 get in. You know, I believe that it's up here, premium analysis, you know, $7 just one time if you want to try out and like, you know, build on these live sessions. And that's, you know, sort of what you want to do. I mean, obviously we go over a lot in this, you know, we do go over a lot in this about what we're looking at and the way that we analyze and everything like that. So if you want another level of it, another layer of it, you know, you could try out the $7 premium analysis and check it out. So again, USD CAD, you know, looking for potential shorts on USD CAD. You know, we'll see how it rejects on this level. You know, as this continues to play out and this 1 hour closes and everything, you know, I'll put out the premium analysis on that. GU, you know, again, we're looking to see how this closes. GU, if this can close below with no wick, and you know, I'll wait for another retest here or something before I potentially signal for us to go short. But this premium analysis is already out. And then USD CHF, you know, nothing at the moment, but for just the sake of a lesson, you know, we missed the entry originally. Now what we're waiting for is a pullback. We just got a lot of rejection, so I do anticipate that. And then USD JPY, again, you know, higher time frames are bearish, but we just broke some lower time frame structure right here. So we will see if we can get some sort of pullbacks and you know, get long on this until we get to some more serious resistance levels. So that's all that I have for you guys. I know you guys had some other pairs that you wanted analyzed, but you know, I don't have my analysis. We don't have analysis ready for that. And at the end of the day, you want to stick to pairs that you know and you trust. We're not trying to just do analysis on anything. You know, these are the pairs that we trade. You know, these are the pairs that we're looking at right here. So, you know, you can go back. You know, have any questions, you can rewatch. This is obviously recorded and everything, and we'll upload it soon. And you know, that was another, you know, live trading session. Obviously went over a ton, you know, a ton of analysis there, potential trades that are getting ready for today. And everybody that's inside of the group, you know, as always, just stay ready, you know, keep working hard. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll get this uploaded for you guys, and you know, tomorrow we'll do the same thing. We'll be on here again.
Yep, same time. Be here, guys. We're watching you guys.
Oh yeah. All right, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yep. Keep trading, guys.
Later.